I'm back, baby. Welcome to Koco's Corner. I am the huge one, Dave Koco from Kocosports.com, KOCOsports.com, or Kocosports.net. It's where the world comes to kick ass, your home for combat sports, and above all, where you can be a passionate fan. It's been 9 or 10 days since I did a review. We did do a Monday Night Raw review on Wrestling Renton's channel. I'll put a link down in the doobly-doo later. And it's great to be back. We were attacked by false flags, and Jerry out of Canada had to work with some Google and YouTube employees, and we've done the miracle. I will be doing a channel about our comeback even more on my personal YouTube account, David Kokotis, and why wrestling reviewers is not a crime. Remember when you used to say, oh, skateboarding, it's not a crime. Doing wrestling reviews on YouTube is not a crime. All right, let's talk WWE Main Event. All right, as always, not as always, well, I guess as always when we have a channel, we ask win, loss, or tie. What did you think of WWE's Main Event this week? I personally, I'm gonna give it a slight win. A slight win. Maybe, you know, my drama with YouTube and it being solved up put me in a positive spot. But it had wrestling. I love how WWE standards have dropped so bad that you're like, it had wrestling. That's a win in my book. I don't know. They're beating us. They're breaking us down. They are beating us into submission. Like, main event, win, loss, or tie. It had wrestling matches. That automatically qualifies it as a win these days. But yeah, I'm giving it a slight win. It did have some decent matches. And like I said, down in the comments, please put win, loss, tie, what you thought of it. With all that said, the bigger question, is it worth watching? Every time we do a B or C show, people are like, oh, I'm watching a review show. But is it even worth watching? Oh, I'd say it's better than Raw. With that, don't take much. It's better than Raw if you're a pro wrestling fan. And if you have free time. It's not worth buying a network over. It's not worth illegally downloading. But if you're like on the internet and you're like, wow, there it is. Let me check this bad boy out. It might be worth it. Don't go out of your way, but if you watch it, you won't be disappointed, I guess is it. So it's completely average, but for WWE standards, that's now amazing. You're like, it was completely average. You should have seen it. It was amazing. What a sad state WWE is in right now. And not only that, but, you know, I have this. Well, let's break down the thing, and then I'll try do my $9.99 conspiracy here. I'm writing down the notes because some people are like, get right into the review, please. Don't actually talk about anything but the review. The first match was Cesaro defeating Jack Swagger. It was a very decent, fun, technical match. Had two great athletes, two guys that I believe should be flirting with the main event, especially since Rusev put over Swagger so much, and people really love the "We the People" chant now. And, you know, it's great for Swagger. Swagger is a good technical wrestler. Cesaro is good at everything. Everything. I mean, you give Cesaro to do anything, and he'll just do it. Like, Cesaro juggle. He's like, I'm the greatest juggler ever. He's just the greatest human being to walk the face of the planet. So, and you'll never be disappointed with Cesaro. And not only that, but they did one of those old school WWE stuff, especially older fans will know, where they have the intro and them coming down, and then the box goes small, and then they have another box of a pre-fight interview. I like stuff like that. It just seems more real. It seems like, oh, that's where a promo is supposed to go. I enjoy that, and hopefully WWE does a lot better. Just like Monday Night Raw, just like Main Event, WWE, the first match is always the best match. If I didn't have to do this podcast, and YouTube is doing everything in their power to make sure that I can't do this podcast, I love you, YouTube. I don't know when this bitterness is gonna leave me, but but if I didn't have to do this podcast, I would suggest you watch the first wrestling match on every single WWE card, and you'll be a huge wrestling fan. Like, if you watch the first match on Raw, then turn it off. You're like, well, why did people hate Raw? If you watch the first match on Main Event and then turn it off, you're like, why did people hate Main Event? The first match is always the best. This was a nice, tight, technical match. There was a botch in it, and I know, like me, I'm okay with botches. Hey, dude, it's gonna happen, especially if you're gonna try to put on a great match. It was a bit of an awkward botch, not botchamania worthy, but just something to mention. Like, psst, what are you guys doing? I think Swagger went too down to bump or sell way too quick, and it just looked awkward. But besides that one awkward match, it was really entertaining. It was a tight technical match, and Cesaro wins. And the funny thing is, it was both the audience loved both these guys, We the People and Cesaro. But it does end with Cesaro eye poking Swagger, and he's getting a 1, 2, 3, so they're trying to make Cesaro a heel. And that's one thing, WWE, why can't you just have clean finishes? What is the, like, I don't know, it's just, I don't understand why there's not clean finishes. This has to be, this year, this month, the last 6 months, has to be a record. At least I'm just talking out my ass here. It feels this way. I'm talking out of my heart through my ass. But it just feels like it's been the most no DQ, most fucking look over there, fucking swoopily-boo fucking finishes. Just dirty finishes. If we're looking for clean finishes, they got nothing but dirty finishes. The dirtiest of the dirty. It was probably the best match of the night, in my opinion. Definitely worth watching. Not so fast, my fellow friend. I forgot about this match. This was pretty damn good, too. They had a storyline where Tyson Kidd and Natty Neidhart are fighting. They're fighting on Total Divas, which I still haven't watched yet. I think I might lose a bet and have to review it sometime in the future because all the co-hosts and most of the Internet Infantry want me to review a show. He's also a heel on NXT, which he'll be going for the title, and he was on Raw, and they were fighting. So they're basically fighting on everything. You turn on the Simpsons Family Guy crossover, you see Tyson Kidd and Natty Neidhart fucking fighting in the corner. They did keep that up. Kane fucking was like, leave me alone. And it led to Tyson Kidd defeating Kofi Kingston. It was a good, quick, fast-paced match. A bit short. I love both these athletes. Wish we could get more out of it, but it seemed like everyone was focusing on the Total Divas bullshit. He's fighting with his wife and all that, and it kind of took away from the match a little bit, but it was exciting. And both these athletes, to me, this is what the Intercontinental title should be, and this should be like semi-main, high mid-card on pay-per-views. But nope, in a world where fucking Brie Bella, we're getting to her, rules the fucking roost, people like Tyson Kidd and Kofi Kingston have to be fucking mid-card matches on C shows. A very enjoyable match, and also Tyson Kidd on NXT. I thought this week they did a tremendous job promoting NXT for their little pay-per-view / special event / pay-per-view, but not really a pay-per-view. But they did a real good job. But Tyson Kidd was there, and they just advertised Total Divas, and they didn't advertise his NXT match enough, in my opinion. And they also they barely advertised. As a matter of fact, when the show went off the air, Michael Cole says, the next time you'll see us is on SmackDown. And I'm like, there's a show on Thursday, asshole. Like, dear Michael Cole, dear WWE, do you know the best show on television that you're making right now? You're not even advertising? And now you wonder, like, are they not advertising because NXT is so good and they don't want people to know about good wrestling? Overall, really good match, but the commentary team, the match itself, it was to show that Tyson Kidd and Neidhart fight each other all the time. That's it. They just are bitter and bicker, and it's crazy. So it's one of those things. It is a good match. Maybe not match of the night because at least they focused on wrestling in the first match. But two great athletes that should be going a lot farther than they are and just stuck in a storyline. So there you go. Kind of worth watching. Then, oh my God. They went to Raw. They showed the Raw recap. Like I said, we did a Wrestling Rant-In. I did a Raw review on Wrestling Rant-In because he helped us out when the world came crumbling down on this YouTube channel. But please go check it out. But they did show a recap, and I noticed that they left the fans chanting "Thank you, Rollins," the "Thank you, Rollins" chant out of it. So I found that to be a little bit funny. It's like, you guys and your propaganda, you're so good. Brie Bella is now fucking Superman. She's Superwoman. She wins a handicap match against two, I don't want to even call them divas. Divas, is there a worse word than divas? The two Stephanie McMahons. She beats two Stephanie McMahons, and Nikki Bella's pissed. So on Main Event, she has to go against Summer Rae and Layla. Summer Rae is a pretty decent wrestler for WWE standards. Layla is absolutely amazing looking-wise, and for WWE standards, a pretty decent wrestler. I did say WWE standards, so don't bite me on the friggin' butt about that one. And Brie Bella beats them both again. It's just like, come on. Oh, well, at least it's not Nikki Bella. It was, all right, let's put it this way. It was the same exact match, only with better wrestlers. And it was, so, I don't know, does that make it more embarrassing because two better wrestlers lost to her? But it was the same exact match, except without as much mess-ups. And Nikki Bella, she was in the back showing off her breast assists. I don't even know if she was really there. And then the main event that they did advertise was Bo Dallas defeated Mark Henry via disqualification. Mark Henry is basically like, he's having a bad life, he's losing control, and he's like, I'm going to turn it around tonight. The referee says, hey, I'm actually going to enforce a rule. Granted, it doesn't make sense because we never enforce rules, but this one time, I'm going to enforce it for you. And Mark Henry is beating the hell out of Bo Dallas. And then Mark Henry loses via disqualification. So, I don't know if it was that great of a match, but let's focus on the positive here. Some people say we're a little too negative. What great refereeing. It actually disqualified someone. Referee of the year. Congratulations. I find the storyline a little bit pretty decent. And the reason I find it decent is I just love Bo Dallas. And I think Mark Henry, I said this on Wrestling Rant, and I've said this before. Mark Henry, if you hide his weaknesses, I honestly believe he could be a star. You really just have to be a good booker / writer / storyteller / coach in the back, whatever. Your organization, if you can hide Mark Henry's weaknesses, I honestly think he could be a star. I'm hoping this leads to Bo Dallas, because I thought they were going to do this with Swagger, but I don't know. Swagger's so over. But I'm hoping Bo Dallas finds people like Mark Henry, and he becomes their, motivational leader, and they have some stable where Bo Dallas motivates people that are down in the dumps. That would be cool. Overall, watch the first two matches. The rest, very skippable. The Divas match was pretty much the same exact match, just someone was playing a different part for them. So there you go. So down in the comments, please put win, loss, or tie, what you thought of it. I'm glad to be back. I'm glad I did this on a Main Event. I feel a little rusty. Like, a little rusty. All right, got it out of the way. So I want to thank Jerry. I want to thank Google and YouTube. Not all of Google and YouTube. Let's be completely honest. Some of them are not worthy of our thanks. But one guy, I don't know if we're allowed to give out his name, went out of his way to help us, and we really appreciate that. So, it's kind of like the good cop, bad cop. Not all cops are bad. There are some good ones. Well, all right, if we're going to say that, I'll say not all Google employees are the most horrible people in the fucking world and can destroy lives in an instant second. There's some good ones, and we were lucky enough to find a good one. So for the good Google employees, we thank you from the bottom of our hearts, and hopefully we can do it. All right, now, here we go. We can finish it off with I took a little note, my $9.99 conspiracy. Main Event has some pretty decent wrestling matches. NXT's the best. Here's my conspiracy. I think they're going to put good wrestling on because they know they have a lot of passionate wrestling fans, and they're going to have good wrestling on for $9.99. So these passionate fans are like, oh, Raw sucks. But let me tell you, I'm going to watch NXT. I'm going to watch Main Event. I'm going to pay the $9.99. And that works. But the problem is, I bet you pay the $9.99, they reach all their goals, you're watching NXT, they're going to say, well, it's because of how good Raw is doing. It's because how good John Cena is doing. And it's just like, I don't know. It's like it got to the point now where I don't understand. Like, if people ask me all the time, like, well, if you could ask Triple H or man one thing, I would ask him this. If you were very upset with the product and you were just a fan, how could you change it? And that would be my question to Vince and Triple H, because a lot of people, they're like, wow, we watch good wrestling. All right, well, Main Event had some decent wrestling. NXT has some great wrestling. You have to pay $9.99. But you pay $9.99, they're going to say, well, you're supporting WWE. WWE must be doing something right. And the fucking shit continues. WWE, my question to you is, if we're disappointed what's on Raw, but we, find NXT to be amazing, we find Main Event and SmackDown to be watchable, except when you put on Raw recaps. My question to WWE, open letter. Dear WWE, we want to support good wrestling and we want the product to be good, but how do we support you and support our favorite guys when at the end of the day you're just going to say it's the crap we hate that's making the money? So that is like my legit question. Because here's the thing. You go out and buy the CM Punk shirts. You go out and buy the Daniel Bryan shirts. They're going to still do what they do. The system is flawed. So my open-ended question for WWE is, if you absolutely enjoy NXT and despise Raw, my question is, as a fan, what can we do? What can we do? Is there, and not even that, if there's nothing we could do, is there a time limit? Like, is there a thing like we can watch NXT and in 10 years, WWE will be good? Is there something that we can do to help you? Help us help you, WWE. All right, and if you want to help us, please go to Kocosports.net or Kocosports.com. It's the world where the world goes to kick ass. Your home for combat sports and where it's okay to be a passionate fan. I did lose my smile for a while, but thanks to Jerry and one YouTube employee, one Google employee, we are now back, and hopefully we can stay that way. Granted, we have to jump through some damn hoops that no one else has to jump through. Just saying. Just saying. It's glad to be back. Hey, please check out Kocosports.com. And with that, I am over.